Okay, so AI, right. It's everywhere you turn these days. Headlines got you dreaming of, like, robot butlers 1 minute, then hiding from the singularity the next.
It's a lot to process.
It really is. But today, we are ditching the hype and getting down to, like, the nuts and bolts of how we actually use AI.
Exactly. We're going to be diving deep into the work of Dr. Melissa Smith.
Okay, already love where this is going. Who's Dr. Smith?
She's a cognitive psychologist at Google who's literally shaping how we interact with AI every single day.
You had me at cognitive psychologist, so not just coding AI, but figuring out how our brains work with it.
That's exactly it. Dr. Smith's work at Google Workspace, so think Gmail, Google Docs, all that, it really centers around the human side of AI. It's like anyone can get caught up in making AI smart, but like, what good is a super brain if it's impossible to actually use, you know?
Yeah. It's like, sure, I can appreciate a high-performance race car, but please don't make me navigate rush hour traffic in one.
Right. Give me user-friendly any day.
Any day.
Which is exactly what Dr. Smith is all about. Making AI that works for people, not the other way around. One of her big things is that AI shouldn't be about replacing us, but about giving us the tools to, like, ditch those tedious, repetitive tasks.
Oh, yes, please. All the little things that eat up our day.
Totally. Freeing us up for the good stuff, creativity, collaboration, actually getting things done.
This is making me think about how much Google Docs, like, changed the game. Suddenly, real-time collaboration was just a thing. Is that the kind of impact Dr. Smith is going for?
Absolutely. She talks about designing for those magical moments where AI makes you go, whoa, that's actually helpful. But you know what? Here's a really concrete example. Remember how clunky Google Docs was on your phone just a few years back?
Oh, I remember those dark days. Trying to edit on the go was basically a recipe for a migraine.
Exactly. Now it's seamless, right?
It really is.
That's not by accident. Dr. Smith and her team, they dug deep into user feedback. And what they realized was that mobile users weren't just reading documents on the go. They were creating whole workflows.
Oh, totally.
So they integrated voice-to-text, real-time collaboration features specifically designed for how we use mobile. And it totally revolutionized mobile work.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Real changes we can all appreciate. But I think it's easy to forget there are real people making these decisions behind the scenes, especially with all the AI hype going around these days.
And not just any people. Dr. Smith, she brings her whole cognitive psychology background to the table. Turns out her research on how much people trust or don't trust automation is directly shaping how these AI tools are built.
Okay, now we're getting to the good stuff. So how does she actually use psychology to make AI better? I need details.
So in her dissertation, she focused on how people react to new tech. Turns out there are, like, your early adopters.
Right, gotta have the latest gadget.
Exactly. Then there's the kind of wait-and-see folks.
Who works first, yeah.
Right. And then you have those who, like, they've got that dedicated new tech drawer they never open.
Oh my gosh, that's totally me with kitchen gadgets. I'm the queen of the unopened new tech drawer.
Right. But here's the thing. What she found is that most tech developers are those early adopters, naturally.
Makes sense.
But they forget that the majority of us, we need time to adjust, to, like, build trust with a new system before we fully embrace it.
So how does she bridge that gap? Does she, like, send out tech support along with every new Google update? Just kidding. Although that'd be kind of amazing.
Right. Sign me up for that service. But seriously, her big push is bringing the users into the design process from the start.
Interesting. So like focus groups, but instead of just giving feedback on a finished product?
It's more like they're part of the design journey from day one.
That's brilliant. So instead of assuming we'll all adapt to whatever tech throws at us, she's asking, what do you, the user, actually need from this?
Exactly. It's this whole user-centered approach, and it's honestly a game changer. By actively engaging with, like, a really diverse range of users.
Which is key.
Totally. Her team can uncover those, like, hidden pain points, and they actually build trust by addressing those concerns head on.
This all makes so much sense. It's like you can't assume we all learn to use a smartphone the same way. Some of us, we pore over those instruction manuals. Others, we just kind of poke around till something works.
Click, click, click.
And then there are those who just hand it to a teenager and hope for the best.
You've just perfectly illustrated Dr. Smith's point. She emphasizes meeting users where they are, not where developers assume they are. And by understanding our needs today, she's shaping a future where AI, it just kind of seamlessly integrates into our lives.
Instead of us constantly having to adapt to it. Okay, now we're talking. See, this takes us beyond just making tech user-friendly and into, like, how dare I say it, AI that actually anticipates our needs. So where does Dr. Smith see this going? What's the future of AI and user experience research in her view? Give me the sci-fi, but grounded in reality, please.
Well, she's not talking flying cars yet,
All right.
but she acknowledges that AI, this isn't just some, incremental improvement.
Right, it's not just a software update.
Exactly. This is a full-on paradigm shift.
Okay, I'm with you.
Like switching from horses to automobiles,
So we're not just upgrading the buggy, we're inventing the whole darn car.
Exactly. And that demands that we really carefully consider how we, as humans, interact with these crazy powerful systems.
Right, because the potential is huge.
Yeah. Huge. But Dr. Smith, she believes we can go beyond just pointing and clicking. She's talking about AI that actually understands your intent, your context. Imagine telling your computer what you need, like you're talking to a colleague, and it just gets it.
Okay, that's the future I signed up for. Sign me up. Are we there yet?
Not quite. Baby steps. But we're getting closer. And I think Dr. Smith would say that the key is to keep the focus on you, the user. What would actually make your work life easier, more productive, more enjoyable even? Those are the questions that are driving her research.
See, that's what I find so refreshing. Because it's easy to get so caught up in the technical can we do this that we forget to ask, well, should we do this? Or how will this impact people?
And that's exactly why her work is so important. She's building that bridge between this cutting-edge tech and, us regular folks, making sure that AI empowers us instead of becoming another source of, techno-stress.
We've all been there.
Right. No one needs more of that.
She's like our advocate in the AI design room, which honestly, we need.
We really do.
So this has been fascinating, but I'm kind of curious, where did this passion for making tech more human even come from? Did Dr. Smith always know she wanted to work with AI?
Well, it's actually a pretty cool story.
Oh, I love a good origin story.
Her path to UX research, it was anything but traditional. Believe it or not, it all started with robots.
Robots, like the ones building cars.
Not quite. Think more on the lines of robotics competitions.
Robotics competitions. Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Tell me more.
So she was involved with First,
Okay, yeah, I've heard of it.
which, if you don't know, it's this amazing nonprofit. They organize robotics competitions for all ages, kindergarten through high school.
Oh, wow, yeah, I've seen those competitions. Those kids build some seriously impressive robots.
It's incredible.
It's mind-blowing. But how does that connect to, user experience research for AI?
So for Dr. Smith, it was all about observing the human element in these competitions. She realized that even with the most, technically advanced robot, it was basically useless if the team couldn't really understand or control it.
So it's not just about building something cool. It's about building something that people can actually use and enjoy using, ideally.
Exactly. That realization, which she got through robotics, believe it or not, ended up shaping her entire career. Pretty cool.
That is really cool. It just goes to show you never know where those early passions might lead you.
You really don't.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about Dr. Smith's work at Google Workspace, her focus on user-centered design, and even her, pretty unique path to UX research. But before we wrap things up, I want to bring it back to you, our listener.
Always.
Because we've been diving deep into the world of user-centered AI with Dr. Smith, and honestly, it's pretty inspiring stuff. But here's the thing. This isn't just about some, tech genius tucked away in a Google lab.
Right.
This is about all of us.
Couldn't agree more. It's easy to kind of feel like we're just along for the ride when it comes to AI, but Dr. Smith's work, it shows us the power of the user's voice.
Because it's true, right? It's we're not just beta testers in this giant AI experiment. We can actually shape the experiment itself.
We can.
So what would you say to our listener who's probably thinking, okay, that's cool and all, but what can I actually do?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And I think Dr. Smith would say, be curious.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to poke around, explore new AI tools, even if they seem a little intimidating at first.
Right. Don't make it.
And when something feels off, when it's not working the way you need it to speak up, give that feedback.
Yes, give the feedback, even if it feels small. Because honestly, those little annoyances, those moments where you're like, ugh, why is this so hard? That's gold for someone like Dr. Smith.
Absolutely. Your feedback is literally helping to shape the future of AI, making it more intuitive, more helpful, more human-centered.
Which benefits all of us in the end.
Totally. It's like we're all part of this massive collaborative design project.
I love that.
Even if we don't even realize it, every time we sit down and use AI, we're leaving our mark on its development.
So true. And that, I think, brings us to another really important point, because We hear a lot about, the future of work in the age of AI.
All the time.
But Dr. Smith's research, it reminds us that it's not just about what we do, but how we feel while we're doing it.
Yes. So important.
So it's not just about, AI coming to take our jobs. It's about making sure the jobs we do have are actually, dare I say, enjoyable.
Precisely. AI has so much potential to free us from all that mundane stuff, to help us be more creative, more collaborative, and, yeah, even happier at work. But that only happens if we stay engaged, if we keep asking those big, important what-if questions, and if we just never stop demanding better from the technology we use every day.
I love that. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive on the deep dive, I think the takeaway here is pretty clear. The future of AI, it's not predetermined. It's something we're all actively creating, one interaction at a time.
Perfectly said. And who knows, maybe someone listening right now will be the one to come up with that next breakthrough in user-centered AI. It all starts with a question, that spark of curiosity, and a desire to make technology work better for everyone.
Love it. And on that note, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive. We hope you enjoyed this little exploration into the world of user-centered AI and that it sparked some new ideas about how you can help shape the future of technology. Until next time, keep asking those questions, keep exploring, and keep those aha moments coming.